Good afternoon and welcome to Give Me Something, Joey. We are on fire at the moment. The week off last week, didn't we?
Nailed everything.
We nailed everything?
We did.
I'll go through your results from the previous week in a moment. It was a brilliant performance. I've missed you. I don't know where you've been. I feel like there's a bit of a gap in my
About
week.
a few days apart. It's been nice, but some big games this weekend, so plenty to look forward to.
There was plenty to look forward to. I just want to back over the results of a couple of weeks ago. I had a stinker again. I don't think I've got one right out of the last half a dozen, but I went for the Pies to be dominated by Port Adelaide's midfield. Didn't happen. Geelong to cough up 100 points doesn't look like happening any time this year.
No.
So I won't go with that again.
The rain, though, the rain cost you that one.
The rain hurt me a little bit, and Sheasel will get 3 Brownlow votes. I can't wait for him to get a go in the midfield. Do you think that'll come soon?
Yeah, it'll come. It'll come.
This week,
Yep.
do you think?
Yep.
You had a few looks last
Hopefully,
week.
no, not this week against St Kilda. The week after.
The week after,
Yeah,
just in
not
case.
yet.
Yeah, you're still a Saints fan. Hey, you had a great week. You went for the draw as your roughie.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
just had a pluck at that one.
You went from Fremantle to move the footy as a possibility. that was a good get as far as I was concerned. Well, I don't know what are we talking about, Chris Fagan again? No, Winburn. You were very happy with how GWS were playing. Let's get stuck into this week because I'm excited about this round of footy. It's a cracking,
it is.
A cracking round of footy.
Yeah.
There's games that absolutely mean something this week, and I'm going to start with my absolute.
Where are you going?
I'm going with Jeremy Cameron, and I want to talk to you about Jeremy Cameron on this show and of course on AFL 360 as well. Just the style of football that he is and the challenge that he is at the moment and what he's doing to the competition. If he's allowed to roam free and drop into little holes and little gaps and be a pseudo midfielder, I don't think there's a more damaging player in the competition playing like that. Running around unopposed. If Melbourne go that mode this week, he will rip their hearts out. Right. And post-match, we'll be saying, why wouldn't you tag him? If you just look at some of the numbers, when he has 15 disposals or more since 2021, they're 31-8. So they're winning 80% of games. If he has less than that, it's almost 50-50. I want to talk to you about the style of football that he is now. 75% of his footy is uncontested. So this guy, he's in a lot of ways the tallest 6-footer playing at the moment.
Yep.
Gets the ball in handball receive or uncontested mark fashion. Do you think you're going to come with me that Melbourne need to tag him, or do you think they'll just trust their system?
I think they need to have a plan. I don't necessarily know if it has to be a tag, because I just wonder, and it's probably too complex to get into here, but how do you do it? How do you tag someone who can play forward and then play in the midfield and roam around? Because it affects the rest of the balance of your team. So I don't know what their plan will be, but they've got to have some sort of plan.
Well, you've got to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, this guy is absolutely on fire. He's involved in 30% of the Cats scoring, which is clearly number one at the Cats. I was going to give you a trivia question if you got your mind switched on. There's only 5 players in the competition that are involved in more than 1/3 of their team's scoring. Do you reckon you'd know who they are?
Toby Green?
No.
Bontempelli?
It's a bad start.
No. Petrarca is?
Petrarca.
Yep.
Yo.
Shea Bolton?
Walsh. Heaney and the wild card Waterman.
Wow.
Could you pick that? They don't score outside of big plugger at full forward. What's your absolute this week?
Well, I'm sticking with the same game, but I'm going on the flip side.
Oh, no.
My absolute in this game is, I think, and maybe this contradicts a little bit of your one with Jeremy Cameron, but I think Melbourne's midfield are going to dominate Geelong's midfield. They're going to obliterate them. Dominate. Like as in own it. Like as in plus 15 clearance.
Oh, hang on, writing this down.
Do we have to get right in the specific numbers? They're going to dominate clearance. They're going to play the game in their front half, a bit like what Carlton did to them. So when you look at Carlton, they had plus 19 contested possession, only the plus 6 in clearance, but plus 21 inside 50s. It lived in their forward half. Now, if Melbourne do that to Geelong, which I think they can, they'll win the game, Melbourne. And I just look at it, I go, Max Gawn, give me either Reece Stanley or Conway. Pick your poison, but Max Gawn's going to dominate whichever one that is.
Max.
Jack Viney and Clayton Oliver have just been off their tucker this year. They haven't had the same numbers that they've had in previous years. I think they're ready to explode. I think they're ready to bounce back Melbourne. I think they've been disappointed with what they're doing around the contest. They're better than that. I think they'll get their act together, and I think they'll make a statement against a Dangerfield-less midfield that have been pretty good. We're going to give the Geelong midfield credit. I just think it'll be a bridge too far this week, and Melbourne to dominate around the footy.
Can't wait to have a chat with you about Geelong, because I reckon they're the only team that don't rely on their midfield. But we'll get to that in a more serious sense down the track. Hey, possibles for me. The battle of the blunt knives. The Suns versus the Brisbane Lions. The rivalry is real. This is the one thing that really attracts me to this game. And I think the Suns will stun Brisbane. They got them last year, and the way they did it, I think you can replicate. It'll finish their night.
Brisbane's season will be done.
Yeah, Brisbane's season will be over.
Right.
Sunday night, the late game. So Brisbane need to win the contested possession battle. So they're up against the guy that's just a freak at the moment. Yep. They could get railed. They could get Matty Rowell on the weekend. So he's number one in the competition for contested possession, 128 for the year. The next best is on 111. Like, he's almost a game in front of the next best. It's quite ridiculous. Brisbane only have one player in the top 30. We know who that is, Lachie Neale.
He's playing banged up.
He's playing banged up, so there's trouble there. And if you look at clearances, when Brisbane lose the clearances, they're 0-3. So if they lose clearance or contest, they're 0-3 on both fronts. And guess who's number one for clearances in the competition?
Suns.
Matty Rowell.
And Rowell.
They could get Rowelled on the weekend. And look at Lachie Neale, and I know you've done a lot on Lachie Neale's clearance game. So I went a little bit further than that. When he has 32 touches or more the last 3 years, they're 17-2. But he's not that player at the moment. No. This is my concern. So when he doesn't have that, they're a 50-50 result. When he has 23 or less, it's massive trauma. So I think if they go again with the tag of Miller on Neale, which they did last time, kept him to 5 kicks last time. He had 4 clearances and 5 kicks. I can see the Suns finishing the Lions' year on Sunday night, which will be the biggest story of the round.
Right, if you get that one, you can you've
got this entrenched.
That's right, at the moment. Hey, my possible, I'm going to the big game Friday night, Collingwood-Carlton. I can't wait for this, and my eyes can't go past Charlie Curnow. And I just think he is ready to unleash. And when I say unleash, I mean 5 goals plus. Because he's had his way against Collingwood the last 2 years. So the last 4 times they've met, he's kicked 15 goals, 9. So he's had 24 shots at goal. So he's averaging 6 shots at goal a game against Collingwood in his last 4 meetings.
6, I might bump you up to 6 goals.
So he's going to kick 5 goals, 1.
5-1.
And I just reckon he hasn't kicked 5 yet this year, but he's close. Like, he's had an okay year, and he's gone 4-2, 4-3, 4-3, 3. And he's yet to really take a game by the scruff of the neck. So I think he's due. The Darcy Moore matchup, we know it'll be a great contest, but we know Darcy Moore at times can give the leg rope. I just think Charlie's ready to cash in. Big stage, he loves it. He loves the big occasion. Friday night, he will kick 5+ in that game. That's my possible.
I like it. Now, my roughie. Now, it's not as rough as I've been in the past, but I'm batting at about 10% at the moment, so I need one. I think Stringer could go crazy, and I'm talking crazy.
Give me numbers.
Huge night.
Give me numbers.
I'm saying 5 goals. I'm coming with you on the 5 goal. I think as a midfielder, he's almost a midfielder now. He was targeted twice inside 50 last week. He's not a forward anymore. He's a midfielder kicking goals. So maybe I could get away with 4 goals.
Yeah, I'll give you 4.
He was in the middle 21 times at centre bounces last week, which is the second most he's had in the last 3 years. He's kicked 3, 3 and 1 the last 3 times he's played the Eagles. He's become a clearance machine. I can see him bursting out of the middle. Eagles are doing some great things with Yo going crazy, and the kid will come back in and do what he's been doing in the first month of the year. But there's an opportunity the other way. And it'll come down to the ruck dominance, and I just feel like Stringer on the move might be able to cause some trauma. I've watched Bontempelli against the Eagles. He kicked 3. So I'm thinking he can have that style of game, and he doesn't have a great matchup. I think once he starts getting them, he'll keep getting them.
Righto. Bombers fans love it when you're positive about Essendon. They're all getting...
I haven't got one thing right about Bombers.
Every time you said something about Essendon, the opposite has happened. So hopefully you haven't jinxed them. Hey, my roughie for this weekend is I think it's going to be a profitable weekend for the AFL. I think they're going to fill their coffers. And before I explain why, let's just take a listen to this grab from Sam Taylor from the Giants.
Yeah, there is a lot of dislike, and once we get on the field, we want to beat them, we want to smack them and come home with the win.
Does the dislike come from anywhere other than just being the mob across town, or is there anything else at play?
Yeah, well, they're young, they're firing, they're a bit smug. That comes from a bit of that as well.
Now, we're not condoning violence, and there's not going to be any punches thrown, but I think there's going to be a lot of fines handed out after this game. I reckon there's going to be a bit of spite in this one. I've seen the replies and the responses from a few of the Sydney boys, and they didn't back down from it. I just think there might be some melees and some scuffles. It's going to be wet. So it's going to be a sort of one of those arm wrestles. They're going to get in each other's faces. Tommy Papley will be involved in it. Luke Parker might be back into the side. Toby Green's back as well. I just think there'll be a lot of heat in this one. And
You're
I reckon
cheering for the MRO.
There's going to be fines dished out.
No.
And if there are fines dished out, then I win the roughie of the weekend.
How many fines need to be dished out?
At least 4. At least 4 fines.
Right.
There'll be scuffles going on everywhere.
4, but 2 can be replaced by a report. So if you get 2 reports, you get a big tip.
All right, good one.
Hey, did you see the NFL draft? Just a little quick one before
it's
we
great
leave.
to watch. Love it.
Do you catch what happened with pick 11, Olu Fashanu? And just have a look at this vision before we go. You can see here, he gets nominated as pick 11. There's his mum next to him.
That's
and
nice.
there's the girlfriend just on the left. He's an offensive lineman. He's just been drafted to the New York Jets. Look at the work she does to just keep the girlfriend at bay. If mum's any guide to how well this guy's going to be able to protect, if it throws through the family, she hasn't got near him yet. She hasn't got near him. Look, up he gets. Hang on. I'm a chance here. There's a small window. I might be. Hang on, there's Mum again. Just gonna put the frame in the way there. No, just block her out. She hasn't been within 3 metres of him in 20 seconds.
Hey, Mum is number one. It's always going to be that way, and she made it the case there. She's number one.
I think that relationship is on shaky ground. Hey, look forward to seeing your results next week, Joey. That's it for Give Me Something. See you next week.